It's a specific kind of cold, the feeling you get when your whole future just evaporates. It's not like the movies. There's no dramatic music. It's just you, the ticking of the kitchen clock, and a laptop screen that has to be a mistake. $74.22. That's what was left. $74.22. I refreshed the page. I thought, maybe it's a glitch. Maybe the bank's website is down. I logged out and logged back in, my fingers fumbling on the keys. $74.22. This was our joint savings account, the Future House Fund. And just 3 days ago, it had $50,450 in it. $50,000. I need to back up. I'm Adam. I'm 29. My fiancée, Chloe, is 28. We've been together for 4 years, engaged for 1. And she is, or was, the most responsible person I've ever met. She's an accountant. She handles all our finances. I'm a carpenter. I work with my hands, and I trusted her with everything. We were saving for a down payment on a house in the suburbs. We'd been looking for months, getting outbid, getting frustrated. And about 6 months ago, my mom passed away. It was rough. It's still rough. She was my biggest fan. After everything was settled, she left me just over $50,000. It wasn't a fortune, but it was everything she had. I told Chloe I wanted to put it all toward the house. A foundation built on my mom's legacy. Chloe cried and said it was the most beautiful idea she'd ever heard. So, we transferred the inheritance into that joint savings account. That, plus our other savings, put us just over the edge for a 20% down payment on a starter home. We were finally ready. That's when Chloe's brother, Kyle, enters the picture. Kyle is a project. He's 26. But he acts 16. He bounces from one genius idea to the next, always needing a few $100 to get it off the ground. A crypto mining rig that fried his apartment's electricity. A subscription box for vintage socks. You get the idea. Chloe has always been his biggest defender. He just needs one big break. Adam. He's brilliant, just misunderstood. I'm a patient guy. I'd nod, I'd listen, and sometimes I'd even spot him $50 for gas. I figured, he's family. Or, he will be. But I had no idea what was happening behind my back. The story starts on Tuesday. Our realtor called, ecstatic. The perfect house, a little 3-bedroom craftsman, had just come back on the market. The previous buyer's financing fell through. If we could make an offer by Thursday, she said, it was ours. I was buzzing. I called Chloe at work. She sounded weird, distracted. Oh, wow. That's great, honey, she said. Her voice was thin. Great. It's amazing. We have to act fast. I'm going to log into the savings account, get the proof of funds statement ready. Wait, she almost yelled. Don't. I mean, let's just wait till I get home. We should celebrate. We can look at it together. That should have been the first red flag. But I was just so damn happy. I couldn't wait. I was too excited. I got home from the job site, poured a glass of water, and sat down at the kitchen counter. I pulled up the bank's website, and that's when I saw it. $74.22. I looked at the transaction history. One single transaction. A wire transfer for $50,000, dated 2 weeks ago. Destination: a holding company I'd never heard of. My hands started to shake. This had to be fraud. Someone hacked us. I was about to call the bank's fraud department when Chloe walked in. She saw my face. She saw the laptop. And she didn't even flinch. Adam, honey, don't be mad, she said, setting her purse down way too calmly. Mad? My voice cracked. Chloe, where is the money? Someone stole $50,000. She took a deep breath. And then she said the words that will echo in my head forever. It's not stolen, Adam. It's an investment. I just stared at her. An investment? What are you talking about? We were buying a house. Thursday. I know, but this is so much better. It's the ground floor. We're going to double, maybe triple that money in 6 months. My heart was hammering against my ribs. It was so loud, I could barely hear her. Chloe, who did you give the money to? She tried to smile. Kyle. It's his new startup. It's finally the one, Adam. I can feel it. He's going to be huge. And he needed seed money. I felt the blood drain from my face. Kyle. You gave Kyle my mother's money. The casualness of her voice broke me. Well, it's our money, technically. It was in the joint account. I'm his sister, Adam. He was going to lose the opportunity. He needed it. You never would have said yes. You're right, I said. My voice was dangerously quiet. I never would have said yes. It wasn't your money to give. It was my mom's. You're not being supportive, she suddenly snapped, her eyes flashing. This is what family does. You're supposed to support me, and that means supporting my family. I was buying a house for our family, I said. The house we were supposed to make an offer on Thursday. Remember, we'll get a better house, she said, throwing her hands up. Why are you being so materialistic? It's just money. This is Kyle's dream. That's when I snapped. I stood up, and I think I yelled. I honestly don't remember. I just remember the ringing in my ears. I told her I couldn't even look at her. I told her to pack a bag. She stared at me, shocked. What? You're kicking me out? Over money? No, I said, walking to the bedroom and grabbing her overnight bag from the closet. I threw it on the bed. I'm kicking you out over trust. You stole from me. You stole from my dead mother. She started to cry. Real, sobbing tears. But I was cold. That cold I mentioned earlier. It was back. It was all through my veins. She packed her bag, all while telling me I was making the biggest mistake of my life, that I was throwing away our future. She left for her parents' house. The door clicked shut, and I just collapsed. I sat on the floor, in the middle of the living room we were supposed to leave, and I just stared at the wall. I thought that was the end. I thought that was the worst of it. I was so wrong. It's been 3 days since my last post. I don't think I've slept. My phone is a war zone. Chloe's entire family is treating me like I'm the villain. Her mom sent me a 10-paragraph long text about forgiveness and how a house is just wood and nails, but family is forever. Her dad, who I always liked, just sent me a single, threatening text. You better fix this, son. I didn't fix this. I got angry, and then I got smart. Chloe, in her panicked exit, left her personal laptop, the one she always used for her personal accounting. I've never snooped. I've never had a reason to. We had an open door policy, but that door was now closed. I spent the first night just sitting in the quiet apartment, feeling numb. The second night, I booted up her computer. It wasn't even password protected. I went straight to her email. I searched Kyle. It was worse than I thought. It wasn't just the $50,000. It's been happening for years. I found a whole folder labeled family support. It was filled with spreadsheets. She'd been siphoning money from our vacation fund, our car repair fund, even our wedding fund, for 2 years to pay for Kyle's life. Hundreds of Cash App and Zelle transfers. $300. Kyle, rent. $500. Kyle, car note. $1,200. Kyle, new laptop. She was paying his rent, his car note, his everything. She was basically his full-time sponsor. My salary, our shared life, was just a resource for her to tap. I felt sick. I had to run to the bathroom. All those times we couldn't afford to go on a nice date. All those times I packed a lunch to save money. It was all going straight into Kyle's pocket. But the $50,000, that was the big one. And I finally found the emails about it. It started about a month ago. Kyle sent her a link to a website. It was for his startup. You guys are not going to believe this. The business was called Pup Hydrate. It was premium, artisan, vitamin-infused bottled water for dogs. I'm not kidding. A slick website with stock photos of happy golden retrievers. It claimed to have electrolytes and antioxidants to enhance your canine companion's vitality. It was the stupidest thing I have ever seen in my life. I found the business plan he sent her. It was pure nonsense. Buzzwords he'd clearly Googled. Synergy, B2C disruption, market saturation. He needed the $50,000 as a first-round investment to secure the bottling contract and initiate the marketing blitz. I scrolled down, and that's when I saw the text she'd forwarded to her own email. It was a conversation between her and her mom. Chloe, he needs $50,000. The only place I have it is the house fund. Adam will kill me. His mom's money is in there. Chloe's mom, he'll get over it. You're almost married. It's your money too. Kyle needs this. It's his time to shine. Family comes first. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a moment of panic. It was a conspiracy. They discussed it. They planned it. They decided, as a unit, that my inheritance and my future were less important than Kyle's dog water. My hands were shaking again, but this time, it wasn't sadness. It was rage. A pure, cold, clean rage. I closed the laptop. I knew what I had to do. The next morning, I called my realtor and told her we were pulling the plug. She was disappointed but understood. Then, I transferred the $74.22 out of the joint account and closed it. My next call was to a lawyer, the top-rated civil litigation lawyer in my city. I got an appointment for the next day. I walked in with a USB stick containing the spreadsheets, the emails, the texts, and the link to https://www.google.com/search?q=pup-hydrate.com. The lawyer, a sharp woman named Ms. Diaz, listened to the entire story without interrupting. She just nodded, her face grim. When I finished, she looked at the USB stick, then at me. Mr. Harris, this is egregious. But I need to be frank. Money in a joint savings account is, by law, owned by both parties. She had the legal right to withdraw it. My heart sank. So that's it. I'm just out $50,000. No, she said, leaning forward. That's not it. The legal right to withdraw is different from the ethical right. And more importantly, we have a clear paper trail of how that money was acquired and what it was earmarked for. The fact that it was a specific inheritance, which you commingled believing it was for a joint purchase, which she then used for a third party without your consent, that moves us into different territory. What territory? I asked. Civil theft, conversion, fraudulent misrepresentation. She told me to go home and do one more thing. Check everything else. Credit cards, leases, loans. Check everything her name is on. Adam, she said. I have a feeling this $50,000 was just the tip of the iceberg. She was right. And what I found next, it changed the game completely. I thought the dog water was the climax. It wasn't. It was the inciting incident. I followed my lawyer's advice. I pulled my credit report. I logged into every account. Her name wasn't just on the savings account. It was on everything. We had a joint credit card for emergencies and shared household purchases. I barely used it. It was maxed out. $15,000. I looked at the statement. $2,000. Apple, new MacBook Pro. Kyle has a new MacBook. $1,500, logo design services, for Pup Hydrate. $3,000, marketing services, a company in Delaware, a company I'm sure is just a shell. And then, just hundreds of charges. Uber Eats, bars, shopping sprees. She wasn't just funding his business. She was funding his entire layabout, hipster lifestyle. And she was doing it on a credit card that I was jointly responsible for. But there was one more. A charge for $4,500 made 3 weeks ago. Payee, Nelnet, the student loan company. I felt a dizzying, sick realization. I pulled up her email again. I searched Nelnet. I found a payment confirmation email. She had used the joint credit card to pay off the entire remaining balance of her own student loans. The house fund, the $50,000 from my mom, it wasn't just seed money for Kyle. It was a smoke screen. It was a big, distracting explosion that kept me from noticing the real grift. She was using Kyle's ridiculous startup as an excuse to drain our joint finances, while simultaneously paying off her personal, pre-marriage debt. She was cleaning me out before we even signed the marriage certificate. The rage was so intense I couldn't sit still. I was pacing my apartment, just vibrating with this toxic energy. I called Miss Diaz, my lawyer, and told her. Her voice was tight. Adam, this is excellent. This is the linchpin. This is no longer family helping family. This is a clear-cut, deliberate, and provable act of fraud. She told me to freeze the credit card immediately. I did. She told me to separate all my finances. I did. I opened a new checking account at a completely different bank. I called my boss and had my direct deposit rerouted. I was systematically cutting her out of my life, wire by wire. And then Kyle showed up. He just appeared at my apartment door. Tuesday night. He knocked, all casual. I opened the door, and he was standing there in a brand new looking jacket, holding his phone. Hey, man, he said, avoiding my eyes. Weird question. The joint card isn't working. Chloe said to just use that for the bottle labeling prototypes. You didn't cancel it, did you? I just stared at him. The audacity. The sheer, colossal, oblivious audacity. He was standing on my doorstep, asking me why I had canceled the credit card he'd been living off of. It's canceled, Kyle, I said. Oh, well, damn, he said, shuffling his feet. Chloe's not answering her phone. Look, this is super awkward, but can you spot me? The label guys need $500. I can pay you back, like, super soon. Once the first shipment goes out, I think something in me just broke. I laughed. It was a weird, sharp, ugly sound. Pay me back, I said. With what money, Kyle? The dog water money, the money you already spent. He flinched. Hey, it's a solid business, man, Chloe said. I don't care what Chloe said, I interrupted. I stepped aside. Come in. You and I need to talk. He looked nervous, but he came in. I pointed to the couch. He sat. I grabbed my laptop, the same one I'd used to discover the $74.22. You think this is a game? I said. I opened the spreadsheet. This is what your sister has been stealing from me, from us, for 2 years. This is your rent, your car, your laptop. I opened the credit card statement. This is your $15,000 bar tab, your logo, your Ubers. He was shrinking into the couch. His face was pale. And this, I said, opening the bank statement. This is the $50,000 she stole. The money from my dead mother. The money for our house. I pointed at him. This is your $50,000. Your pup hydrate investment. Kyle started shaking his head violently. No, man, you're wrong. Chloe told me you agreed. She said you were so excited about the idea. You wanted to be a silent partner. She said the $50,000 was your buy-in. She said it was your idea to use your mom's money as a blessing for the business. The air left my lungs. She didn't just lie to me. She lied to him. She had painted me as the enthusiastic, supportive, investing partner. Also, Kyle would take the money without question. He's a loser. Sure, he's a leech, but I don't think he's evil. He genuinely thought I was on board. She lied, Kyle, I said. My voice flashed. She lied to both of us. She told me it was an investment after she took it. She told you I was a partner before she took it. It was a lie. All of it. Kyle looked like he was going to be sick. He put his head in his hands. Oh my God. Oh my God. Her student loans. She told me you paid those off as an early wedding present. She said you were just cleaning up the books before we all got rich. I had no words. The layers. The intricate, sociopathic layers of her deception. Kyle looked up at me, his eyes wide with genuine panic. Adam, I didn't know. I swear to God, I didn't know. I thought you guys were just the perfect couple. So did I said. He stood up, pacing. The merch. The bottles. Oh, God. The bottles. What about the bottles, Kyle? The money's it's not all gone, exactly, he stammered. She made me pay for all the inventory up front. She said it was smarter to get it all in one. What inventory, Kyle? Where is it? He pulled out his phone, his hands shaking so hard he could barely type. She put it all in a storage unit. She said we had to protect the assets until the big launch. He fumbled with his phone and then showed me a text from Chloe, sent a week ago. It was an address, a gate code, and a unit number. Kyle looked at me, his face ashen. Adam, I think you need to see this. I met Kyle at the storage facility the next morning. It was one of those big, orange and blue places out by the highway. The air smelled like exhaust and dust. Kyle was already there, leaning against my car. He looked like he hadn't slept. He just handed me the key to the padlock. It's unit 418. I walked down the long, echoing metal hallway. The sound of the rolling metal door was deafening. I slid it up, and I just froze. The unit was full, floor to ceiling, with bottles. Tens of thousands of cheap, plastic water bottles, the kind you get at a 5K. They all had a badly printed, peeling sticker on them. PUP Hydrate. But that wasn't all. There were boxes and boxes of t-shirts with the Pup Hydrate logo. There were dog bowls. There were bandanas. It looked like the world's saddest trade show booth. Kyle, I said, not turning around. How much? The bottling company had a 10,000 unit minimum, he mumbled from behind me. That was $25,000. The merchandise, the guru said we needed brand visibility. That was another $10,000. $35,000, I said. My voice was hollow. On plastic garbage. He said it was a turnkey solution, Kyle whispered. And the other $15,000. Kyle, where did the rest of my mother's money go? He winced. The marketing guru. He took his $10,000 fee and I haven't heard from him in a week. His website is down. So, $10,000 to a scammer. That leaves $5,000. Kyle was silent. Where is it, Kyle? Chloe held it back, he yelped. She said it was for operating costs and tax withholding. She put it in her personal checking account. I don't have access to it. Of course she did. She paid off her loans with my credit. She paid for Kyle's scam with my inheritance. And then she paid herself $5,000 in cash, just as a little bonus. I took a deep breath. I took a picture of the storage unit, then another, then a video. I documented everything. I turned to Kyle. You're going to forward me every single email, every text, every invoice from the bottle company and the guru. And then you're going to write out a timeline of every conversation you had with Chloe about this. Everything. He nodded, terrified. Yes, of course. Adam, am I going to jail? I don't know, Kyle, I said, locking the unit. But she might be. That afternoon, I sent everything to Ms. Diaz. The pictures, the new emails from Kyle, his sworn statement. Her reply was fast. We have her. The storage unit is the proof of conversion. The $5,000 in her personal account is the smoking gun. We're ready. She drafted the most brutal, airtight civil demand letter I've ever seen. It laid out, in excruciating detail, the fraud, the civil theft, the conspiracy. It demanded immediate repayment of the $50,000 inheritance, the $15,000 in credit card debt, and my legal fees. It also had a little note. It said that if we did not receive a reply from her and her parents, as co-conspirators, within 48 hours, we would be filing a lawsuit and handing over the evidence of wire fraud to the district attorney. I went home, and I waited. The call came 24 hours later. It wasn't Chloe. It was her father. He sounded small. All the bluster was gone. Adam, he said, my lawyer has your letter. This is a misunderstanding. It's not, I said. I have pictures. I have texts, I have statements. It's the most understood thing in the world. There was a long silence. I could hear him breathing. I heard his wife, Chloe's mom, crying in the background. What do you want, son? He finally said. I want my money back. I want the $65,000, plus legal fees. I want $70,000. And I want Chloe out of the apartment by tomorrow. All her stuff gone. Adam, she's your fiancée. No, I said. She's not. She's the person who defrauded me. You have 24 hours to wire the money, or Ms. Diaz files. I hung up. I spent that night packing. I put all of Chloe's things, her clothes, her makeup, her pictures, into cardboard boxes. I piled them by the front door. The next morning, at 9 a.m., my lawyer called. Check your account. I logged in. A wire transfer from Chloe's father. $70,000. I let out a breath I feel like I'd been holding for a week. At 10 a.m., Chloe and her mother showed up. Her mother wouldn't even look at me. She just started grabbing boxes, her face a mask of stone-cold fury. Chloe, she tried to talk to me. Adam, please, she said, her eyes red and puffy. Please. We can fix this. I'll pay him back. I love you. Don't do this. You'll pay him back. I said. With what? You don't have any money. You spent it all on dog water and your own debts. It was a mistake. I panicked. No, I said, holding the door open. It was a plan. You lied to me. You lied to your brother. And you disrespected my mother. You didn't just steal my money. You stole our future. And you stole her memory. Her face crumbled. She knew there was no coming back. Get your things, Chloe, and give me your key. She fumbled in her purse, her hands shaking, and dropped the key into my palm. Her mother grabbed the last box and pulled Chloe out the door. She didn't look back. So, here I am. I'm in an empty apartment, surrounded by boxes I now have to pack, because I can't afford this place alone. I lost the house. I lost the woman I thought I was going to marry. But it's strange. I don't feel sad. I feel light. I'm out. I'm free. The $70,000 is in my new account. It won't bring my mom back, and it won't buy that perfect little house. But it's a start. As for Kyle, he actually called me. He apologized. Genuinely. He said he's liquidating everything. He's selling the bottles and t-shirts on eBay for 10 cents on the dollar, just to try and pay his parents back some of what they paid me. He even got a job at a doggy daycare. I lost a fiancé, but I dodged a bullet the size of a missile. The house can wait. My self-respect couldn't.